exactly what you want to see. Let's run this puppy in. Score a touchdown and tie this game. Life, run for your life, touchdown on one play. Worked on this in practice. Touchdown. It's up to Kelvin Benjamin. This is all you, buddy. Kelvin Benjamin for a touchdown. Oh, he toasted his man. Holmes toasted his man. Spin move. Oh! Oh! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Legends Fantasy Draft Series. Now, I do have some bad news. I mentioned this in my video a couple of days ago in the retro rebuild with the Atlanta Falcons, how that was the series finale of that series. And I mentioned that in the upcoming San Francisco 49ers video, which drops on Monday? Is it Monday today? I think it is Monday today. It drops whenever. The same week that Madden 23 drops, this is going to be the series finale of this series. Now, I know that the Legends Fantasy Draft series in Madden was my go-to series, but that has kind of changed over the past 12 months. I guess you could say that relocation franchises have become my go-to series now on the channel. I haven't really thought about whether or not I'm going to bring the Legends Fantasy Draft series to Madden 23. I might do it, but I don't 100% know if I will or not. And so this series ending is kind of a sad thing, because in Madden 20 I did the Chicago Bears. In Madden 21 I did actually, was it Madden 19 I did the... Wait, hold on, let me think. It was Madden, I think it was Madden 20 I did the Bears. Madden 21 I did the Bills. And now in Madden 22 I've done the 49ers. I think that's how it goes. So I've done this now for 3 seasons. Or for 3 years, I should say. And it's a little sad. This is the series that kind of blew up. What was it? It was the Madden 20 Chicago Bears first episode was my first video to get over 5,000 views. And I think it currently has like 8,000 views right now or something, like 7.9, something like that. So that video was like special to me because it was the first video that really like blew up. And for this episode right here of the 49ers to possibly be the final Legends Fantasy Draft video that I ever do, or at least for a while, that's a little sad. So, but we can't look too sad because we've got crazy things to come in the future. I mean, later this week is going to be Madden 23 content on the channel. I'm going to upload crazy amounts of Madden 23 videos that you guys are super excited for, I hope. I'm super excited to upload them. And then obviously later this week, at the end of the week, we've got the first video of the new relocation series. I hope you guys are excited for it. I know you guys are. So without further ado, let's get into the series finale of the San Francisco 49ers Legends Fantasy Draft Series. Okay, so here we are. We are right where we left off in the last episode a couple of weeks ago. And how we're going to do this is we're going to go through the offseason, even though it technically doesn't matter now that this is going to be the final episode. We are going to go through the offseason, but we're kind of going to do a little bit of like career stats. We're going to look back and take a look and see who played really well, who were some of my favorite players and stuff. So we're going to do that. That's going to be most of the video, but we are going to do the offseason. The season recap, Peyton Manning was the Super Bowl MVP. We got our revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs because in the previous season, Steve McNair beat us heavily in that one. So if we take a look back at the series, year number 1, we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady was the Super Bowl MVP. Year number 2, we got back and we blew out the Texans. That was absolutely not a challenge. Tony Gonzalez was Super Bowl MVP. I think he got like 4 or 5 touchdowns in that game. Then in 2023, in year number 3, we lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Steve McNair, we just couldn't stop their offense. They were just way too good. And then this past season, the season that just finished up, we got back to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs in a rematch, and we beat them. The score looks a little bit closer than it was. The game wasn't as close as the score suggests. And Peyton Manning was the Super Bowl MVP. So we did 4 seasons of the series. We won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls, which is pretty good. We can advance the week now to the re-sign player period. I guess it doesn't matter now who we re-sign or don't re-sign. And I'm not going to spend too much time in free agency and in the draft because it doesn't matter. So we are going to take a look at the mock draft. We do have the number 1 overall pick because we traded it to the Rams to get it. And I was gonna draft Willie Anderson Jr. I still will draft Willie Anderson Jr. That was always the goal. So I still will draft him. But we can take a look at player upgrades. It's probably not gonna it's gonna be the 2 guys who we can't technically upgrade because we don't have enough points to purchase the bucket or whatever the stupid thing they say is. So players ready to negotiate is we can franchise tag a couple of guys, or 1 guy, I guess. And I think we will franchise tag Junior Seau just to keep him around. I guess it doesn't really matter who we franchise tag. And now we will advance to free agency period number 1. And once we get done with the free agency period before the draft, we will take a look. Actually, I might finish the draft first, and then we'll take a look at career stats and stuff to kind of wrap everything up. So we'll auto upgrade those players and then get out of that. And then we will go to the free agency period and see who's available. I don't even know who's going to be available in this. We've got Walter Payton and Ndamukong Suh is there. If we were going to go on, what would be some of our top needs? Not really a running back, although we don't have Derrick Henry. Where's Derrick Henry at? Did he get hurt? Let me go to the lineup and see what's going on with the team. So, there's Derrick Henry. He just wasn't on he wasn't on there because his development trade is now a star, and these 2 guys have superstars, so they got bumped ahead of him. That's why. So he's still on the team. So we have, what's a need that we can go after? Right tackle could be something that we need to go after. Corner we're pretty good with. Pass rushers we're good with. D tackle could be an option since we lost Ndamukong Suh. So pass rusher, edge rusher, I should say, D tackle and right tackle are some positions that we could look to focus on. We could just bring back what's his face, Ndamukong Suh. The right tackle spot's not very good, so I guess we'll just stick with Jedrick Willis, who's still a good player. Akeem Hicks, Montez Sweat, Leonard Williams, Yannick Ngakoue. Not really great options there. And if we were going to continue on, I would fix everybody's development traits like I do in previous seasons, where I would give them back what they had at the end of last season, because I don't know why Madden does it. Maybe it's because the fact that there's so many like superstar X Factors and superstar players that it has to lower a lot of them. So that's probably the thing that it does. But I don't know. That's probably what it is. So we'll try and bring back Ndamukong Suh. Is there anybody else here that I'd want on my team? I don't think so. Corner's pretty solid, so I don't think we need to worry about corner. Strong safety, free safety's fine. Quarterback we're good on. We got Peyton Manning. Running back we're fine with. Wide receivers, we're fine with the wide receivers that we have. We can always make trades if we need to. Actually, we don't need to because we're not going to go on. So I think we'll just continue. We'll just bring back Ndamukong Suh, and we'll go from there. We don't need to sign anybody else, really. It wasn't that great of a class. I mean, there were some good players in there, but in terms of what we would need if we were going to continue on next season, it wasn't a great class in terms of our needs. We just need to bring back a D tackle. Plus, we have Kayvon Thibodeau as a pass rusher, so we could use that. Ndamukong Suh accepts the contract, so he's coming back. Dwight Freeney is back from injury as well, so he's also there to help in the pass rushing situations. We can go to upgrade players and probably just those 2 guys. Yep. That we don't have enough points to purchase the bucket, so we will advance through that. And we can go to the draft and do the draft. We don't really have to worry about too much more stuff because we're not going to be signing anybody. So we can just continue through here. We will upgrade these guys. I don't know how many draft picks we have. I know we have the number 1 pick, obviously, but after that, I don't know. I can't remember what we had to give up to get the number 1 overall pick. We might have had to give up a couple picks to get it. But we get to the final mock draft before the actual draft. I will take a quick look at it to see if who's going to go behind us. Like, is CJ Stroud going to go? What are they kind of thinking? So I will do that. Let's take a quick look at it, the mock draft. And they still have CJ Stroud going 2 to the Bills, Bijan Robinson to the Browns, Bryce Young to the Bucks, Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Seahawks. Okay. And then they have us obviously taking Willie Anderson, and that's who I was going to take. Even if they had us taking somebody else, I was always going to take Will Anderson with the first overall pick. That's why I traded for the first overall pick with fellow division rival, the LA Rams, who only won 2 games this year, which is actually disgusting. So let's jump into the draft. Let's not waste any more time. We will pause, and we will make our selection to get Will Anderson Jr. on the squad. Welcome to the team, Will Anderson Jr. 88 acceleration, 85 agility, 86 speed. Very, very good. And if you're wondering, the reason why I'm not going to continue this past this episode is because I don't want to take too many series. I already talked about this in the Falcons episode. I don't want to take too many Madden 22 series into Madden 23 cycle. I'm already taking the Cougars into the Madden 23 cycle. So I want to start fresh. I want to get to new stuff. I want to get to new content. And with a new game coming out, I want my videos to be new videos, like new content videos. So I don't want to focus on Madden 22 when nobody really cares about Madden 22 at this point. So I want to just go straight to the good stuff, which is Madden 23. Hopefully it's a good game. I don't know if it will be or not. Let's draft Zach Charbonnet. Sure, I don't care. It's not going to matter too much. Not going to matter too much who we draft because they're not going to ever play for us. We will continue on. I'm going to skip ahead to the end of the draft because I don't care who else we draft. It was only about Will Anderson Jr., getting him on the squad. So we will draft him, and we will see who else they drafted. I guess I'm a little curious to see who we drafted. So upgrade players. Don't care about that because we can't upgrade them technically. And let's go to the draft recap and see who they drafted and what overall Will Anderson is. Will Anderson is an 81 overall. I would assume that's probably the highest overall. We also got Brandon Joseph. All right, nobody really else that's good. Nobody really else that's good. All right, now we can take a look in the past and take a look at some career stats. So to wrap up this episode and to wrap up this series, I wanted to discuss and take a look back at the career stats of all of our favorite players, because taking a look at this career stats can give us a better insight of who was like some of the greatest players in the entire series. And the good thing about this kind of series is a lot of these guys aren't real players, so their career stats are whatever they've done in the 4 seasons of the series. So that helps us. We don't have to like try and determine what they did in their real career for the most part, and then try and decipher what they did in just these separate 4 seasons of the save. So for an example, Joe Montana, who got benched in the start of this season, I think this final season he got benched. He was going to be my starting quarterback. He ends up throwing for almost 1,300 yards in his career, 90 touchdowns to 37 interceptions. Very solid career for him. 69 completion percentage. Nice. That's a good number. Peyton Manning, 5,700 career yards, 53 touchdowns to 22 interceptions, a career percentage of 70. Very good for him as well. And then Tim Tebow had 2,400 yards, 17 touchdowns to 19 interceptions. He never really developed the way that I thought he was going to develop, but it is what it is, I guess. In terms of rushing, King Henry, 2,000. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy because Derrick Henry's a real player in the league right now, so his stats are going to be messed up in terms of what he did in real life and what he did in the save. So 2,000 carries, 12,000 yards, 125 touchdowns is insane. Fumbled the ball 12 times. Ricky Williams had 753 carries, 3,800 yards and 38 touchdowns. Eddie George had 221 carries, 1,200 yards and 27 touchdowns. Okay. Very, very good for rushing. Receiving, Jared Cook was obviously the all-time leader because he's real. So he's got an edge up on these guys. But Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss both had 258 yards even, or 258 catches even. And Megatron had 4,500 yards and 42 touchdowns. And Randy Moss had 4,100 yards and 40 touchdowns. And they both had Randy Moss had 246 yards per game, average yards per game. That is insane. So did Chad Johnson. He had about a similar number to that. He also had 288 catches, 3,900 yards, and 35 touchdowns. Tony Gonzalez, 31 touchdowns, 3,700 yards, and 326 catches. These guys were balling out. Chad Johnson had a wild final season. I don't know what happened where he just became the guy, but he was the guy for that final season. I don't know what it was. Blocking-wise, Orlando Pace in his 4-year career allowed 31 sacks in 68 games played. 20 sacks for Jedrick Willis, 11 for Evan Mathis, 5 for Marquise Pouncey, 4 for Tardif. Josh Myers in 8 games didn't let up a sack. Good for Josh Myers. Ike Mekwonu in 4 games never let up a sack. Defensively, this is where it gets insane because we had a lot of real-life players on this team. So Earl Thomas is the all-time leader in tackles with 1,237, 38 interceptions, 2 sacks. Kareem Jackson, 1,100 yards or 1,100 tackles, 4 sacks, 24 interceptions. Jamie Collins has just over 1,000, 15 tackles for loss, 26 sacks, and 15 interceptions. And then we get to the insane stuff. Ndamukong Suh with 1,000 tackles, 80 for loss, 125.5 sacks, 1 interception in his career. That was obviously a real-life one. Joe Hayden has just under 1,000 tackles. He has 3.5 sacks, 33 interceptions. Domata Peko has 934 tackles, 36 for loss, 29 sacks. Sherm has 50 interceptions in his career. Absolutely insane. TJ Watt has 76.5 sacks. Obviously, he would probably get a lot more if we continue going on. 22 interceptions in Kurt Coleman's career. Shazier ends up with 417 tackles, 11 sacks, and 11 interceptions. Good for him. Cam Chancellor gets 8 interceptions, 386 tackles. Darrelle Revis gets 340 with 9 interceptions, 33 sacks in Junior Seau's career, 47 sacks in Reggie White's career. That number would certainly go up if we were continuing to play because Reggie White was an animal. And Dwight Freeney with a year less than what Reggie White has 38.5. He was a monster. He was an absolute beast for a while in this series. Forced fumbles is Jamie Collins with 21, 17 is Earl Thomas along with TJ Watt, 10 for Joe Hayden. The most recoveries is Earl Thomas with 10. The most blocked kicks is Ndamukong Suh with 2, Shazier has 1, Kimdiche has 1, or Robert Kimdiche has 1. You got to say it like that. Junior Seau has 1, Spielman has 1, and Ojulari has 1. Safeties, we have 2 for Sue, Ojulari and Dwight Freeney have 1. And then defensive touchdowns, I'm assuming we're going to have a lot. We do. Sherman has 5. Thomas has 4. Kareem Jackson has 4. Hayden has 3. Sue has 3. Kimdiche has 1. Collins has 1. Revis, Chancellor, and Coleman all have 1 as well. And then we get to kicking. Adam Vinatieri, 3 years in the league, 28 of 29. That's good for 96%. 57 yards was his longest. He went 149 for 151 from extra points. He had 2 of them blocked. Both of them were blocked. That's pretty good in terms of kicking. Cordell Patterson in his career, 10,000 kick return yards, 9 touchdowns. Punt returning, just under 1,000 career punt return yards. And then that is all of the San Francisco 49ers. But we can take a look at some of the teams around the league and see. So Michael Vick probably doesn't have a lot of passing, but does he have a lot of rushing? Not really. The simulation quarterback rushing stats are never really that good. I don't know why they're not really that good, but they're not. Take a look at some big-time quarterbacks. Josh Allen in his career. We'll try and find some big-time quarterbacks that aren't really in the league. Tom Brady, look at these. 96,000 yards for Tom Brady. That's just an insane number to even say. 749 touchdowns for Tom Brady. Just insane. Absolutely crazy. That's not even real numbers. Like that's fake numbers right there. That's not real. Troy Aikman, here's a good one. Troy Aikman, 135 touchdowns, 17,000 yards. John Elway has 158 touchdowns, 20,000 yards, so he was slinging a little bit more. Randall Cunningham, 16,000 yards, 110 touchdowns. So Randall Cunningham's got the most for the created guys so far that I've seen. Jameis Winston's there. Steve McNair was right there. I saw him. 170 touchdowns. 170 touchdowns in 4 seasons for Steve McNair. Wow. That's crazy. Matt Stafford. And then I think that's Lamar Jackson, too. Yeah, it is Lamar Jackson. He's backing up Matt Stafford. That's crazy. Cowboys, Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers. Dolphins is Ben Roethlisberger. Then Marcus Mariota. Eagles is Trent Green. Kyler Murray. Falcons, Dan Marino. 151 touchdowns for him. Still 170 is insane from Steve McNair. No wonder he was dominating the way he was. Carson Wentz. McNabb has 126. That's pretty good. Andy Dalton. Johnny Unitas is down there. Packers, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson. Aaron Rodgers, 546. That's pretty crazy. Patrick Mahomes has 239. Dak Prescott. Eli Manning, 107. 129 for Andrew Luck. That's respectable. Baker Mayfield, Jay Cutler, Roger Staubach. Steelers is Ryan Fitzpatrick and Brett Favre. Steve Young and the Texans, 138. Titans, Ryan Tannehill, Drew Brees at 132. Flacco, 227. Man, that is insane. Absolutely insane that the 170 for Steve McNair. What an insane stat. Look at Matt Ryan compared to Tom Brady. This is not even... There's a whole career separating Tom Brady and Matt Ryan in terms of just yards. Around 23,000 yards separates Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. That's an NFL player's career, 23,000 yards. And that's what separates Brady and Matt Ryan. That's insane. Rushing, 4,000 yards, or 4,000 carries for Adrian Peterson, 19,000 yards. 171 touchdowns. Derrick Henry's in second. Todd Gurley, Zeke Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. A lot of guys up there. There's only a few that have across 10,000 yards. Receiving, obviously, you're going to have guys like Larry Fitzgerald at the top because he's just a beast. 164 touchdowns. Is that the most? I'm assuming that's... Yeah, it's very clearly the most. Julio Jones is next with 17,000. Then Antonio Brown with 15,000. He was on the 49ers for a few seasons. I think all up until the final season. Deshaun Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Evans, Kelsey, Odell Beckham, Keenan Allen, Jimmy Graham. There's some big guys in here. Blocking, we don't really need to care about that. Defensively, here's the good stuff. Bobby Wagner, 2,300 tackles in his career, 30.5 sacks, 17 interceptions. Levante David is not really even that close to Bobby Wagner. That just shows you how good Bobby Wagner was in his prime. He was a demon. 19 interceptions for Levante David. KJ Wright's there. There's Mario Davis, Wesley Woodyard, Malcolm Jenkins, Vontaze Burfict's down there. Let's see who has the most sacks. It is Von Miller, 156 sacks, then J.J. Watt, Ryan Kerrigan, Aaron Donald, Justin Houston, Chandler Jones, Everson Griffin, Jerry Hughes. There's Ndamukong Suh. Who's got the most interceptions? Is it Sherman? It is 50 interceptions for Richard Sherman. See, this like going back and seeing who's got like the most of whatever shows you how good that Legion of Boom defense was in the mid 2010s. Like 2012, 13, 14, that little era of Seattle football on defense is insane. That's when all these guys were putting up these numbers. Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, everybody on that team was just insane. That's where Richard Sherman gets enough interceptions to be in 50. I mean, he got a lot in this simulation too, but just absolutely. It just goes to show how good that defense was and how good that Patriots team was for defeating that. Just say it. Malcolm Butler. Marcus Peters is there, Earl Thomas, Devin McCourty, X-Man, Xavier Howard, Harrison Smith. All right. Who's got the most fumble recoveries in their career, forced fumbles in their career? Chandler Jones with 28 in his career, 27 for Robert Quinn, Von Miller. Who's got the most recoveries? It's Levante David with 18, then J.J. Watt. What about block kicks? DJ Reader, surprisingly, is the leader with 3, along with Geno Atkins and Olivier Vernon. Safeties, Justin Houston has 4. Derek Brown has 3. Geno Atkins 2. Okay, some surprising names up here. Some people that I didn't think would be up here. The Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins with 9 defensive touchdowns. That is understandable. That fits the bill. I can see that. Marcus Peters has 7. Malcolm Jenkins 7. Rashad Jones 6. Eddie Jackson 6. But that makes sense. Janoris Jenkins in his prime was always returning things for touchdowns. And then the best kickers of all time, at least in this save, with the most field goals made is Mason Crosby with 386 out of 468, 82% for his career. Think about that. He kicked or attempted 468 field goals in his career, and he's got an 82% field goal percentage. That is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. And obviously next Madden, in Madden 23, we're going to get Justin Tucker having a 66-yard field goal as the longest field goal, not just a 61. Field goals blocked. We had Mason Crosby with 4 extra points made in their career as Mason. So Mason Crosby just the greatest kicker of all time is what you're telling me. He's made, look how much of a difference it is between him and Justin Tucker. He's got 923 made and Justin Tucker's got 574. That's insane how much of a difference that is. That's crazy. How much the Packers are scoring. I mean, it is a big difference with Mason Crosby having 18 years of experience and Tucker having 13 years. That does factor in, but still, how many times the Packers are scoring compared to what the Ravens were doing? That is insane. Kick returning, obviously, if this was real life, Devin Hester would probably be up here with terms of touchdowns, but Cordell Patterson is cruising easily in this in the kick returns. There's Tyler Lockett, Tavon Austin, Jamison Crowder, the usual suspects. And then returns, punt returns, Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Jackson, Patrick Peterson, the usual guys you would expect there as well. So that is your wrap up of the 49ers series. Just insane that Tom Brady got to 96,000 yards, and he was on our team for the first 3 seasons, I think, three or 4 seasons. I can't remember exactly. But that is going to wrap up this series. I do want to say I'm so thankful for the fact that you guys click on every single video. I am really just honored that you guys would do that. I still, like I said earlier in the video, I still have not fully decided if I am going to bring this series back for Madden 23. If I do, it will be a little bit later into the cycle, kind of like how this one was. Maybe not as late as this one, because for this series, I was waiting for the scouting update to come back. I probably should have just done it without the scouting update, but it was new. I wanted to get the series with the new system, the new scouting update into it. So next time, I probably won't wait as long. Now, in this one, I did make most of these prospects. I made most of these legends. And so that is the main reason why it took so long to get the first episode out, is because I was doing most of the work. I made the draft classes with the extra prospects, the extra legends that couldn't fit in the base roster. I made those 2 draft classes myself to add those extra legends in. So it took a lot of hard work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort to make those draft classes and to make the roster just to get the series underway in the first place. That's the main reason why it took so long. So if I do, that's one of the main reasons why I kind of don't want to do it again, because for what I want, like, I don't have to make all these legends, but I feel like to have a good Legends Fantasy Draft series, you got to have all the good legends. And some of these roster creators, they don't go into the detail and make some of these legends that I feel like should be involved. Like some of the times, some of the legends that I feel like should be included, which I did include in this series, aren't usually included in some of the roster creator legends rosters that are available on the Madden share. So that's why I decided to make my own roster and make my own extra draft classes to add the last remaining people that I couldn't add in the base roster. So that's why I decided to do all that. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't really want to do it for Madden 23, because it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and I'm already doing 3 channels. I'm trying to upload consistent in all 3 of those channels. I'm trying to get new Madden 23 content out to you guys, and it's just going to be crazy, and it's just going to be like, I'm editing, I'm doing all this kind of stuff that I wasn't doing. I wasn't managing 3 channels when I was making this Legends Fantasy Draft roster. Now I'm doing 3 channels. I'm editing for all 3 of those channels. I'm uploading. I'm recording. I'm trying to get content. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stuff going on right now in my life, and I don't know if the Legends series is going to continue. If it does, it'll be a little bit later into the cycle once I kind of get everything figured out, and maybe like in my off time, I'll make a couple Legends here and there for the roster, and it'll just like be over time, and then it'll get done then. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I can't promise anything, but if you enjoy the Legends series, I don't want to say that it's officially done forever. Like, there's a possibility that it could come back. Nobody's ever dead on this channel. It could always come back. So there's that, I guess. It could always come back. I'm just saying that at the start of if you're looking for it at the start of Madden 23, don't be sad or don't be upset when it's not there, because it won't be there at the start of Madden 23. We're going to have the Cougars that are going to finish up at Madden 22. We're going to have the new relocation series for Madden 23. I'm going to have a bunch of Madden 23 like one-off videos coming out as well. So later this week, you're probably going to see multiple uploads for the first couple of weeks of Madden 23. I'm going to get the base like 3 o'clock video that I always have out, the consistent video that I always bring out, which may or may not include Madden. And then we're going to have Madden 23 separate one-off videos that I'm going to do just to get you guys more Madden 23 content, since it is a new game and since it's just coming out later this week. So that's the goal. I hope you guys do enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this entire Legends Fantasy Draft series. If you did enjoy it, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Madden 23 content is coming later this week. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.